and thanks for tuning in. Welcome to It's Homemade, a channel where you can find recipes that are so amazing and it's tasty and healthy for you. So today we're gonna make this barbecue chicken pizza, which is just gonna melt in your mouth. So without any further delay, let's start. I'm gonna begin by slicing up some chicken breast. Chicken breast is very good because there's no fat in it. It's lean protein and it's very good for your health. So I'm gonna slice them an inch stripes. I've taken about 1.5 pounds of chicken breast. So I want to marinate this chicken first and keep them aside for a bit before we start making the pizza. So in a bowl, I'm gonna take the chicken that we just cut. And then I'm gonna season them with some sea salt, some pepper, freshly crushed peppers, and then I'm gonna put in half a teaspoon of mustard and some ketchup, about 1 tablespoon of ketchup, and then half a tablespoon of hot sauce, and then a squeeze of a lemon. So this will balance out the tanginess, the sweetness, and the spiciness, and it's going to be like a barbecue flavor. It's going to be really nice. So I'm also going to be adding in some sugar, but coconut sugar, to give some sweetness to the chicken, because barbecue chicken are usually a little bit sweeter. So I'm going to give that a mix and keep this chicken in the fridge for about an hour or so for it to marinate, and then we'll come back to it. So for the pizza dough, I'm gonna take about 2.5 cups of whole wheat unprocessed unbleached flour, and then to that I'm gonna add in about half a teaspoon of coconut sugar and half a tablespoon of olive oil, and I'm gonna crack in 1 whole egg. So to this I'm gonna add in some instant dry yeast, about 2 teaspoons, and then I'm just gonna mix everything together with the help of a whisk, just to make sure that there is no lumps and everything is mixed thoroughly. So to this I'm gonna add in 3/4 cup of warm water to bring it to a dough, and then keep kneading it, and I'll add more flour as required. So once everything comes together, I'm going to remove the whisk and then start kneading the dough with my hands. I'm just going to add in a pinch of salt as well before kneading the dough to balance out the saltiness in the pizza dough. And then I'm going to keep kneading it until the dough becomes nice and smooth and bouncy. So once that's done, I'm going to cover this with a plastic wrap and leave it somewhere in a warm place. In the meantime, I'll just slice up some tomatoes for the base of the sauce for the pizza. Today I'm not going to make a pizza that is a sauce base. I'm going to rather make something different. So I'm gonna start by chopping up some tomatoes, and also I'm gonna chop in some basil leaves, and I'm gonna season them with some pink salt and some crushed peppers, and then I'm also gonna be adding in some dry sage and mix them all together. Now I'm gonna be adding in some coconut sugar and then mix that up too. I'm just gonna put this in a bowl and then add in some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and leave this for it to chill a little bit in the fridge. And then we're just gonna use the tomatoes and not the water when we make the pizza, because the water is gonna make the pizza soggy. We just want to flavor the tomatoes. So in the meantime, I'm gonna prepare for the toppings. So I'm gonna be using some white onions, some tomatoes, and some green peppers, and some olives, and the chicken, of course, that we've marinated. So I'm just roughly chopping up some onions and olives in this manner. And once we're done with that, we'll start making our pizza. So now I'm almost done chopping up the toppings. So we're ready to cook our chicken. Although it's barbecue chicken, we're gonna do this in a pan, and still it's gonna have that barbecue taste because we're gonna burn the chicken a little bit, and it's gonna taste amazing. So I just use a little bit of an olive oil, and then I start sauteing the chicken that we marinated. So I'm gonna keep cooking them until all the juice is evaporated and it's nice and dry and it has that texture of a barbecue chicken. So I'm cooking this chicken in medium to high heat. Sometimes I'm turning them a little bit low, and sometimes I'm bringing the heat very high so that I can achieve that barbecue burned flavor. So as you can see, after cooking for 5 to 10 minutes, it's ready. The water has evaporated and it's nice and dry. So we're just going to leave this chicken aside to use as a topping for the pizza. So as you can see, the dough has risen a lot. It has doubled in its size. So now we'll start rolling the base for the pizza. So I'm gonna do this directly in the baking dish that I'm gonna bake the pizza. It's much easier. So I'm gonna divide the dough into 2 equal halves because I plan to make 2 pizzas out of this. So I'll try to make it as equally portioned as possible. So I'm gonna take the first portion and then I'll start to roll the pizza. So I just want to make it nice and round, and I'm just gonna start by pressing the dough with my fingers like so and try to level it out. So now I'll be using the rolling pin to roll out the dough. People have different ways and method of doing this. Some people, they throw the dough up in the air and stretch them. Some do in very different ways. But I think rolling pin is the easiest way for me. So I'll be using the rolling pin, and I'll just roll out the dough and try to pull it towards me and try to make them round in shape. It's not going to be perfectly round, but that's okay. So I'm trying to pull towards me and trying to stretch out the pizza so it's nice and flat and even on all sides. I'll do something like this so that we have a nice sides on the pizza. And now I'm going to take the tomatoes that we marinated earlier and then just lay them over the pizza evenly. I'm not going to use the water. Make sure that there's no water or very less water because it's going to make the pizza soggy. And I'm just going to lay out in a very even manner. So I'm going to add in the cheese now. I'm using today mozzarella. You can use any cheese that you prefer. And I'm going to add in all the toppings now. The onions and the green peppers and olives. And then at the end I'm going to add the chicken. I like to even out the ingredients in a pizza because when I take a bite, I like to have a bite of everything, a little bit of everything. So I just even them out nicely. And then once that is done, I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit more cheese on the top so that there are some cheese on the top of the toppings as well. It looks nice and it tastes amazing. And these pizzas are ready to go into the oven. So I preheated the oven for 450 Fahrenheit, and I'm gonna bake this pizza for about 8 minutes. And in between, I'm gonna just rotate the pizza so that it's cooked evenly. So now the pizzas are almost ready. It's nice and bubbling, and we're just gonna take out the pizza and let it cool for about 2 to 3 minutes because it's super hot. And after 2 to 3 minutes, I'm gonna cut them and then serve them. It smells amazing, they look amazing, and I hope it tastes amazing. So try this recipe out. It's an amazing pizza. You can use any toppings you like. And if you like this recipe, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe so I can bring in new and fresh homemade recipes that are yummy and healthy at the same time. So until then, bye bye. I'll see you in next video.